Morning. Good morning, everybody. I'm gonna wait a minute and see if my good morning, sister girl. I'm gonna see if my comments are gonna scroll right today. If it'll cooperate with us. Don't know why this is behaving this way lately. Computers make me crazy. Oh, I hope y'all had a good weekend. I had a busy, eventful weekend, and it's going to be another busy, eventful week. I feel like I pass myself coming and going some days. I'm sure I'm not the only one. Okay, let's get started. I have my coffee in hand. I'm ready to go. I'm going to preface this by telling you that I don't have all the answers. I wish I did. I wish there was a manual that I could refer to and that I could refer you to that had all of the answers in black and white. But there really isn't. And the reason for that is we are all different. And so how things affect me may look different than how it affects you. There are principles, basic principles, that we're all encouraged to follow on this Weight Watchers journey. But if you haven't discovered yet, it's going to look different for you than it looks for me. So I'm going to try to answer not as many of your questions. Y'all left, when I asked you the other day for your questions, I think there were like 188. It will take me weeks to get through them, but I will do my best to answer what I believe to be the best answer I can give you. I'm not going to tell you that my answer is the gospel because, I'm just me. So I'm just giving you my opinion and what I have seen works for me and what I see works for the majority of the people that I see in the Weight Watchers meetings. But please don't go and say, well, Pam said blah, 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 so that absolutely is how it is, because that's just, again, it's just my opinion. But anyway, here we go. Before I go any further, I want you to write this down because I want you to go read it. I want you to go at some point today or tomorrow to connect on your Weight Watcher app or website. And I want you to search for this lady, and I want you to read what she wrote about freestyle. It's probably one of the best explanations of a person's aha moment that I've seen on freestyle so far. And I could try to regurgitate it, but you just need to read it. And you might even want to print it out and refer to it often. Her name is, and I don't know how you say this, so I'm going to spell it for you, but go to Connect. Search for SILV, as in Victor, Y, 10131. She posted it this weekend, and I think it's called something like Welcome to Your Plan. You need to read it. So, having said that, the most common question that came up in my request for you for questions that you were struggling with was obviously about freestyle. So, what I did was I went back to the book where it all started. And I was reading it. Interesting, huh? Wonder why they would give us a book. Maybe so we would read it. Curious, did you read yours? So, here is, that was a little starky, wasn't it? So looking in your introducing freestyle book that we all should read, and probably we all should read it more than once, maybe refer to it now and then. On page, let me find it again. On page 9. Oh, wait. On page 1. Wow, right off the bat, it says, the Weight Watchers Freestyle program builds on our incredibly effective Smart Points system and bumps up the benefits even more. Okay, so there goes that rumor that Weight Watchers is bringing back Smart Points. Smart Points never went away. This just builds on Smart Points. It doesn't replace it. It just adds to it. So let's put that rumor to rest. Okay, I'm going to check that one off my list. Then, if you go to page 9, it says, how do you build a meal? Well, you start with a base like skinless chicken breast or eggs. It doesn't say you have to eat skinless chicken breast or eggs. It says start with a base like that. Here's the key. And then use your dailies to layer on flavors. Okay, so that gets rid of the theory that we're supposed to be eating only 0-point food. Not so. We're supposed to use some of the 0-point foods as a base for our meals, and then use our Smart Points to finish the meal. So there goes that little theory that maybe we're supposed to be seeing how many 0-point foods a day we can survive on and how few Smart Points we can actually spend. Okay? So then it says for a cushion, use your Smart Points budget on all meals. If you run out, you can use 0-point foods as a cushion. So there again, that reinforces that we are supposed to be eating our Smart Points. We're not supposed to be surviving on 0-point food. That's what the Smart Points are there for. Eat them. Okay? So we can mark that one off the list. Use your daily Smart Points to add, phone was ringing. Use your Smart Points to add flavor, not to avoid. We're not supposed to avoid using our daily Smart Points. That's right there on page 9 in the book. Interesting. Then when you turn to page 10, it says it's all about flexibility. On the Weight Watchers Freestyle program, you have lots of options when it comes to creating meals. I underlined this. Using foods with Smart Points values along with 0-point foods. Along with, not instead of. Use your points. Mark that one off the list. Boy, we're just learning all kinds of things this morning, aren't we? And then it gives you some options of how to put a meal together. And then you go to page 14 where it talks about tracking, and it says, tracking makes you aware of what you're eating and drinking and how much, and helps you stick to your Smart Points budget. Remember, you don't have to track your 0-point food. It doesn't say you're forbidden from tracking them. It doesn't even encourage you not to track them. If you are still struggling with finding the balance, I encourage you to track those foods. There's no way you can go back and look and see what did I do good that week that I lost so much compared to what did I maybe not do so well on the week that I had a gain. If you track, you can compare. Or if you go to meetings, you can take your tracker to your leader and say, I need you to look at this and help me figure out what I need to tweak. So if you're in a struggling mode, or if you're just one of those people that prefers to track everything, there isn't a single place on this page that it says, don't track whatever you do. Don't track those 0-point foods. Your app won't blow up if you track something 0-point food. It just says you don't have to. Okay? I don't have to take out the trash every day, but if I don't want it running over, or if I don't want to deal with the effects of having too much trash in the trash can and my husband's not home, I'll take out the trash. There's a difference between don't have to and shouldn't, and you have to decide for yourself which you want to do. Then it talks about meetings and digital tools, and Connect is one of the digital tools that I was telling you about. And I strongly encourage you to go on Connect today and look up SILVY, Sylvie 10131, and read what she wrote about freestyle. I think you'll find it very, very enlightening. The last thing in this book I want to point out to you is on page 27. Number 2 says tracking smart points helps you lose weight. Can I get an amen? It makes you aware of what you're eating and drinking and how much, and helps you stick to your smart points budget. You only have to track the foods that have smart points. Again, it doesn't say don't track 0-point foods. Some people just appreciate not feeling like they have to track everything. If you're one of those people, then that's what freestyle gives you. If you prefer to track everything, then by all means, keep tracking. If you're struggling, keep tracking so that somebody can look at it and help you figure out what is different. Okay, why isn't freestyle working for some? Well, my first question to somebody when they come up to me at a meeting and ask me that freestyle's not working for me, my first question to them is, what are you eating different on freestyle than you were eating on smart points? I had a gentleman last week at one of my meetings that said, I followed the plan. I tracked. I did everything I was supposed to be doing. And I lost weight, but I was starving all week. And I said, well, we don't want you to be hungry. So let me look at your tracker and let's see if we can figure out why you were hungry. I had a suspicion I knew what the answer was, but then he showed me his tracker. He was eating every single day 6 oranges in one day, and he was eating about, I think if I remember right, he was eating no protein until lunch, and then he had a tiny little bit of protein, and then he didn't eat any more protein until dinner, and then he had a tiny little bit of protein at dinner. He doesn't like vegetables, so he wasn't eating any of those. So he was spending all of his points on, thank you, Carol, I'm still in my Christmas coffee cup. I forgot to put it up, and so I just grabbed it this morning. Anyway, my point was he was living off of fruit and carbohydrates. Okay, we don't count carbohydrates in Weight Watchers. We count points. However, if you're trying to live off of one food group instead of incorporating all of the healthy food groups into it, you're going to feel like you're on a diet. The other thing I ask people to show me, what are you doing different? Okay, so I had a lady say, I said, tell me what your breakfast was this morning. And she said, well, I had 3 eggs and 2 pieces of bacon and a piece of toast. And I said, what did you eat for breakfast before freestyle? Okay, well, before freestyle, she ate 1 egg and 1 piece of bacon, and she didn't eat the toast. Okay, so why now are you eating 3 eggs if 1 egg satisfied you before freestyle? She said, well, because it's 0. It's free. And I said, it isn't free. It's 0 points, but it isn't free. We've got to get past that mentality. No food is free. We're all, probably the majority of us, on Weight Watchers because we overate. So we can't go back to that overeating mentality. If 1 egg satisfied me on Smart Points, I now have the freedom to eat that 1 egg without having to track it. If I'm hungry and want to add a second egg, I have the freedom to do that, but I'm not going to eat 3 eggs just because I can. That defeats the whole purpose of trying to learn to control my portions. I hope that makes sense. Okay. So a lot of you have said, okay, but they took away 7 of my points, or however many points. Okay. If Weight Watchers had told you when you originally signed up, let's do it this way. Do y'all remember the days of, you probably do because you're my age or some older. Do you remember the days of the real estate financing where you had, okay, I think they called it a balloon loan, where they gave you a really low, really comfortable interest rate mortgage payment, but in a year, it was going to get uncomfortable because they were going to start charging you more in a year. Do you remember those days? Okay, well, if you had signed up for Weight Watchers a year ago and they said, okay, for the first year, we're going to give you 30 smart points a day, but in 1 year, it's going to go down to 23 smart points a day. You would have seen it coming, and you wouldn't have been nearly as upset when the day came that those 7 points went away. So I think most of us were upset because we weren't expecting it. But instead of feeling like they've taken points away from you, let's look at it like this. I have a 7 point. I lost 7 points when Freestyle launched, or when the employees had to go on it. So I have a 7 point deficit from when I ate on Smart Points. Okay. But I look at it like this. I ate 2 scrambled eggs for breakfast on Smart Points before. I eat 2 scrambled eggs for breakfast on Smart Points now. Those 2 eggs used to cost me 4 points. Now they don't cost me anything. So there's 4 of the points that I lost. I used to eat chicken once a day, pretty much every day. I have either chicken at lunch or at dinner. Okay, so that was anywhere from 3 to 4 points on Smart Points. Now that's nothing, no points on Freestyle. So there goes my 7 points that I don't have to pay for. So even though I had 30 and now I have 23, I don't have to count those 7 that I had to count before. So I still have the same points to spend. I know what some of you are saying. I don't eat eggs. I don't like chicken. I don't like turkey. I don't like anything on that list. I'd really like to know what you were eating before. Honestly, I'm not joking. If you're one of those people that says, I don't eat any of those foods on that list and they took my points away, you are welcome to private message me and tell me what a typical day on Smart Points was for you before, and let me see if I can help you figure out how to adjust your day now so that you don't feel the pinch of those points that have gone away. If you go to meetings, I'm absolutely certain that your leader is more than happy to do the same thing for you. So instead of wallowing in self-pity because we feel like we've been taken advantage of, let's figure out how to make it work for you. Weight Watchers want you to be successful. Are they a business? Yes. Are they about making money? Yes. But their driving force is for their members to be successful, because without that, they won't make money and they won't stay in business. Weight Watchers is #1 for a reason. They're not all about tricking you. They're not all about punishing you. They're about being the most successful weight loss plan known in today's industry. And they are that for a reason. So my last thing about Freestyle that I want to tell you today, and I'll go into it more as things come up, but instead of just giving up, instead of just posting, it doesn't work, I give up, or Freestyle, Freestyle stinks, whatever. Instead of that, ask for help. Go to somebody who's been successful. Go to your leader. Go on Connect and reach out to somebody who's lost weight. There are many, many blogs that you can follow. I told you that the sisters on YouTube, the Skinny on Weight Loss, had a great video about their come to realization of what they were doing wrong on Freestyle. There are lots of people willing to help you. So you saying Freestyle doesn't work, I give up, that doesn't help you, and it sure doesn't help anybody else. So reach out for help. That's what we're all here for. And if somebody, I'm going to ask you to do this for me though. If somebody posts in the Facebook group and they're struggling with Weight Watchers and they're asking for help, and you're one of those people that has decided that Freestyle isn't going to work and nothing anybody says is going to change your mind, I'm going to ask you to not participate in that thread, because that person is asking for help. They're not asking for reinforcement of what they're already struggling with. So if you want to offer help, jump on board and let us try to see if we can help them figure it out. Do it nicely, or your post will get deleted. We don't need snarky comments. But if you aren't willing to offer help, then bow out of that conversation, because they're not asking for people to say, yeah, me too. They're asking for people to help them figure out what will work. So I'm going to ask you to do that for me. Okay, next question, moving on. Fruit. This is one of the most popular ones in the group and gets asked more than probably anything I can think of. Why do I have to count points for fruit when it's blended? The answer has nothing to do with chewing necessarily. The answer is because when you drink something, you can drink much larger quantities much faster than you can if you eat it. If you eat food, it takes longer for your body. My laptop just timed out. It takes longer for your body to digest it than drinking. Drinking gets into our bloodstream faster, so I'm told. I'm not a food scientist, I'm not a nutritionist, but that's what I'm told. I have also read that blending fruit breaks down the fiber. That makes sense. I, again, can't tell you absolutely positively that that's the answer, but it makes sense. Bottom line is, the food scientist that Weight Watchers employs and pays, I'm sure, a pretty good bit of money, have investigated this and researched it and tested it and determined that it should have points when it's blended. So I know for a fact that I'm not smarter than those food scientists. I haven't tested my theory on hundreds or possibly thousands, and in this case millions of people, to prove that I know more about it than they do. So I'm going to trust them. That's just what it boils down to. If they tell me that putting my banana in the blender and making a smoothie out of it means I need to count points, then I'm going to count points. I'm not going to argue with them. I'm paying them for a reason, and so I'm going to trust them to know what they're talking about. Do I need to rinse my fruit? If you are eating canned fruit and it's packed in its own juices with no sugar added, unless it's pineapple, I don't believe that you have to rinse it. I drain the juice off of my fruit if it's canned. I don't always rinse it, but I do drain the juices off regardless. That's just me. You do what works for you. You do you. I do me. We all get along great. I will tell you, I don't always drain, and I never rinse my vegetables, my canned vegetables. Sugar that's in a can of fruit hasn't necessarily been cooked into that fruit. Sugar that's in a can of vegetables has been cooked into that vegetable. So you can't drain and rinse the sugar off of vegetables. So I think some people probably drain and rinse their vegetables just because they don't like, what it's been packed in. That's up to you. That again, that's one of those you do you, I do me, we all get along great. moments, but you can't rinse sugar off of canned vegetables because it's been cooked. Another question was, is it better to eat all of my daily smart points and some of my weekly smart points? Your healthy range in Freestyle is no less than 10 below your daily smart points and no more than 5 above your daily smart points. So using me as an example, my daily smart point budget is 23. So Weight Watchers tells me if I'm eating healthy, I should be eating no less than 10 below, which would be 13, so no less than 13 points a day, and no more than 5 above, so no more than 28 a day. Now, obviously, if I go over 23, I'm now into my weeklies. If I am under 23, I'm going to roll over up to 4 of those. But can I tell you that there are days that I don't hit my healthy range? There are days that, not by design, but just by what I eat, I don't eat 13 points. I eat a lot of food a day, but I don't always hit my 13 points. I strive for that, though, because I trust Weight Watchers, and Weight Watchers tells me that I should eat no less than 13 to stay in my healthy range. So I try for that. I don't care about blue dots, but if you do, you have to be within that healthy range to earn your blue dot for the day. Do I eat my weeklies? Some weeks I do, some weeks I don't. I never personally noticed a difference in my weight loss when I ate weeklies as opposed to when I didn't. I did notice a difference in my weight loss on the days that I wasn't eating enough points. So what I would tell you, if I were your leader, is if you're not losing, I would look first to see what you're eating, and then I would look second to see how many points are you eating. It could be that you're not eating enough. We always assume it means that we're eating too much, and sometimes you're not eating enough. So I would have to look at both of those, but that differs for different people. Some people were able to eat all of their dailies, all of their weeklies, and felt like they lost more weight. Heather's asking, how much weight have I lost? As of this morning, I have lost and maintained a 58-pound weight loss. I will celebrate reaching goal, I believe it's April 1st. So I'm coming up on my 1 year of keeping off 58 pounds. What was I saying? Some people lose more by eating their weeklies. Some people will tell you if they dip into their weeklies, they don't lose weight. That's one of those things that you have to try and figure out what has worked for you. Val says, how much on Freestyle? I started as an employee on Freestyle in August. Yeah, around the 1st of August. So, almost 6 months. And I think I've lost 2 pounds on Freestyle, but I'm not trying to lose. Well, right now I'm trying to get that 5 pounds off, and that's where the 2 pounds have come in. I have maintenance down, Pat. I can maintain this weight, but I'm working on 5 more just because I want to. I have people in my meetings, though, that have, I have a lady in my meeting who is now on, let's see, she started Freestyle, she's an employee, so she started Freestyle in August when I did, and I think as of last week, she's up to close to 30 pounds. So Freestyle works. You just have to figure out how to make it work for you. Okay, so we answered that. And then the last question I'm going to cover today, and I'm not going to keep you any longer, is somebody said, when there's sugar in ingredients, does it matter whether it's the 3rd ingredient or the 15th? Or are all sugars equal? No, all sugars aren't equal. And yes, it matters where it is in the ingredients. The higher it is in the list of ingredients means the more quantity of that ingredient there is. For instance, if sugar is the second ingredient, there's a lot of sugar added. If sugar's the 15th ingredient, then there's probably just a tiny little bit of sugar. But if sugar is an ingredient, you have to track it. If sugar is listed in the, let me grab a can. I'll show you something real quick. Sorry about that. I didn't think to do this earlier. Okay. This is a can, and I know it's backwards, and I apologize. But up here, it says sugars, 5 grams. See that? Okay. This is a can of pumpkin. When I go to so pumpkin is 0, smart points. When I go to the list of ingredients right here, the only ingredient is pumpkin. So even though this says it has sugar, this says it doesn't have added sugar. So this is 0 smart points. This is pineapple, sliced pineapple in pineapple juice. Okay? Again, if I look over here, it says 15 grams of sugar. If I look at the ingredients, wherever they are, ingredients are up here. Pineapple slices. Pineapple is 0 smart points. I personally would count this as 0 and drain the juices off. I wouldn't eat the juice. I wouldn't, because, you know, you have to look at the ingredients, not the nutrition label, because a lot of food has a natural sugar that has to be listed in the nutritional value of the food. But unless sugar is an added ingredient and it's a 0-point food, it's still 0. If they added sugar, it's no longer 0. And then you have to calculate or scan it and come up with the point value. Does that make sense? I hope so. All right, I'm going to look real quick and see if I can see any of your questions. And then I'm going to let you go for the day. Let's see. Do you eat a lot of carbs? Do I eat a lot of carbs? Some days. I'll tell you, my breakfast this morning had no carbs. My breakfast this morning was 2 scrambled eggs and 2 slices of bacon. The bacon had 1 smart point each, so it was 2 smart points for breakfast, 0 carbs. My lunch today is meatloaf, green beans, and the tiny little new potatoes. So lunch today has some carbs, but they're whole food carbs. I don't have any processed carbs at lunch. Dinner tonight, we're having grilled chicken, tenders with corn, and can't remember what else we're having. Black-eyed peas. So I'll have carbs with dinner, but again, I don't have any processed carbs at dinner. And if you're tracking points, you'll realize that I am up to not very many points with that. So my snacks today will have points. I will probably at some point today have a Weight Watchers protein stick. That's 2 points. I'll also, this afternoon, I'm meeting a friend for coffee, and so we're going to Starbucks, and so I have plenty of points to have a skinny latte, and the one I get has, I believe it's 4, I'll have to double check, it may be 5 points, so I'm using my points, but I'm choosing where to use them. So yes, I do eat carbs. I don't eat a lot of processed carbs anymore, but I do eat them. The other thing is I'm making some of the 2 ingredient bagel dough. I'm doing an experiment this afternoon. I'm going to try to make fried pies out of them. So I'll let you know how that turns out. And then I have a Weight Watchers meeting tonight. So if I get hungry, I have points left over for another 2-point snack if I need one to get me through. Let's see. Do I do this every Monday at 8 o'clock? I try to do it every Monday morning at 9 o'clock Central Time, which is where I am. I'm in Texas. So every now and then my work interferes and I have to change the time, but I always post it on the board if I have to change it. Otherwise, it's at 9 o'clock my time on Monday mornings. Let's see. I think that's it. As always, I promise I will go through your comments and answer any that I can. Again, if you came in late, please, please, please go to Connect and look up SILVY 10131 and read her explanation of her journey on freestyle. I think it will answer some of your questions. Beverly Joyce Seinen, fried pies, please share the recipe when you do it. I will. It's really not going to be a recipe, except I'm just going to cook down some apples and cinnamon and nutmeg and maybe a tiny bit of brown sugar Splenda and cook that down. And then I'm going to make the 2-ingredient bagel dough and roll it out and fill with that those cooked apples, and then I'm going to put it in my air fryer and see how it turns out. Maybe dust it with a little bit of cinnamon, but we'll see. My husband loves fried pies, so I'm going to try it. We'll see if it turns out. Have a wonderful week. Read your material. I encourage you to go back, find this book. You got it, your first week of freestyle. Read it. Listen to it. Don't just skim over it. Read what it says. And then if you're still struggling, find a leader. If it's not me, find a leader or someone who's been successful on freestyle that you trust their advice, and reach out for help. Don't just give up. The program works. I promise you the program works. We just need to figure out what's not working about the way you're doing it. But once we figure that out, we're going to get you losing weight again. We're not going to give up on you as long as you don't give up on you. Have a wonderful week, and if you have any questions, yell at me, send me a private message, reach out to the folks on here, and I will see you on the board. Bye.